Okay.
She got herself killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we could. So many theories out there. There's possibly somebody that just showed up that could maybe answer these questions. I don't know. Zach, can you have you been hearing us talk or anything like that? Our theories? Yeah. Fair enough.
Fair.
What's up?
How's it going, man? How you doing?
What's that?
So how you doing?
Doing good. Hang on, shut the door. The kids are gonna.
A little loud there. Kids are loud.
What are you doing? What are you doing in the back room? Why y'all? What are you? Who are you talking to?
Talking about people that are talking about my movie. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta.
It's like me with my kids. What are you screaming about? Why are you screaming right now? I don't. What's he screaming about?
Oh, what's going on, man?
So yeah, what you go at what?
No, I think we're just trying to we're kind of going all over the place with theories and everything because this little movie came out that you you made a little indie flick that you just put out there this week. A lot of theories and stuff like that we're just kind of going rubbing our chins and kind of going wow, what's going on with this, that, and this.
Philosophizing.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect word for it.
Well,
so, who wants to go first?
Let's go.
Well, then I got to ask then, okay, so if the intent was to get the vial of blood from Tanaka, right? That was Tanaka, him working with the military. I mean, okay. I don't know if you could even, if this is going to be a story or not, but I mean, I feel like if he's sent people in there before, he's had to have done this before, which should get explored in the prequel, right?
Oh, that he failed.
That he failed, right?
I will say, yes.
There you go.
They failed. I will also say that, there's a chance, and I'm not saying 100% this is true, and in some ways it's not, but the group at the table, it's pretty subtle.
Yeah.
But that's them also at the table. As well as, they get farther every time, possibly.
Okay, so we're back to that theory about the time.
Yeah, he's teasing it.
Oh my god!
He said there's no way to leave the time loop on the table. You're killing me, man. You're killing me.
I know.
Yeah, because that's another thing that we were talking about.
Is this the time they made it all the way to the money?
I mean, are we gonna find out this is takes place in a video game and each time you get closer?
I promise you won't find out that it takes place in a video game.
Okay, there you go. We can throw that one out there.
We got a direct answer. Good job, Dave.
If anyone says that, you can say no.
Okay,
no.
That one we're okay. We're good on that. That theory's out of there. Okay, cool.
Well, because partly what you don't know is that. And what you will come to find out, of course, is that, where Zeus comes from. Mm-hmm. Richards is his name. The soldier.
Richard.
Richards.
Okay.
Richards.
The soldier that is Zeus. Now we know him as Zeus, but he had a name. He was a guy before. And something happened to him, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously.
Voluntary or involuntarily?
That's a good question.
Without ruining it, I would say it's 50-50.
Okay.
No,
there you go. No, and I don't mean to say that. He did volunteer for something, but it wasn't what he thought.
Oh, okay.
He got reverse Captain America. Basically.
Yeah, he was hoping for Captain America. He got zombie.
It's a bit of that, but it
was like an alien ship crashed and offered him a ring.
It wasn't just come to this facility and train or take this experiment. He had to do. He went on a quest of his own
Mm.
and came back this thing.
Mm.
So
Okay.
No, I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
yeah,
it's hopefully
keep watching,
coming.
and maybe you will.
That's very true. See, keep streaming it, guys. We're gonna ask ours.
Keep streaming
Well,
it, and
yeah.
there's a chance someone's gonna call me and go, "Hey, okay, go."
Let's roll.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean,
That's how that works.
that's how that works. I mean, there's,
Weirdly
you know,
how it works. I know it
It's-
seems like there'd be more to it, but honestly, there's not.
Well, then,
It's
so
a
then
lot
how
less
does-
straightforward than the movie.
that's funny. So then two things then, right? One,
go.
I'm guessing that Dieter lives. Is that correct?
oh, somebody.
In
Yeah,
some
that's
form.
I got to say that because it's
Somebody's.
I mean, does Dieter live? Well,
we don't see him die. That's
we
all
don't
I'm
see him
saying.
die.
Which
We don't see him die. That's true. That's fair.
That's one
Yeah.
of the.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's fair. You would say in a horror movie, if we don't see you die,
yeah, see.
by the
There you
rules
go.
of horror.
Now the second question, because you just basically confirmed that yes, he's alive. So I appreciate it, but without confirming it. No, I'm just kidding. So then the second
Hard fact.
stupid. So then the second question would be, okay, the procreation aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to be from Zeus because he was the one that was getting tested on, or could it be involved with all alphas? They just don't know it yet.
I would say for now that it seems to me that only Zeus and only the alpha and the queen
Oh,
for now could procreate.
Mm.
And then maybe if they had a child, that child,
Right.
you know that there would be, you know what I mean, some sort of, because like the whole thing that we talked about was that like the idea to me was that this also marks an evolution within, like, you know, like they're also they get to a point where they don't need us anymore, right?
Right.
That's kind of what that idea was about.
Yeah, they could just keep going. They could just literally create their own
Create a new
offspring
race.
Yeah, they
without.
don't need a host,
Yeah.
right? They don't need to
Right,
bite
yeah.
someone to turn him into a zombie. And who
Right.
knows what that baby would have been like? Like, would it have been?
Martian Manhunter type looking dude.
Yeah, would it have been? Good. But
Yeah.
would it have been smarter yet? You know, like would
Mhm.
it have been more? Like, how much better than Zeus would the baby have been?
Yeah.
I think that's.
And also, what would it need to survive nutrition wise? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
If
And frankly, I'm not 100% sure how they.
yeah,
Like, I don't see them like, you know, they were kind of like, are they like, what are they living on? They're not really eating each other. They're not eating the humans
Yeah.
that they catch.
Yes.
Like, I'm not sure exactly how they.
Well, I mean, that gets brought up when they first get in there. I mean, we were talking about how, you know, they're all just kind of there. And then if it rains, they'll start moving. And I mean, first off, that sounds like a fucking nightmare that.
By the way,
Yeah.
that's like the shit. By the way, we had a little sequence in the movie where that happened, but it was too. I loved it as an idea, but it
didn't work.
felt like it's one of those things that just in visualizing it, we were drawing I was doing some drawings and I was like, it's weird for Las Vegas in the moment they're there for
That's
like
true.
clouds to appear out of nowhere and so
True.
Yeah.
It doesn't rain that
loved
much
it,
in
but I'm
Vegas.
like, I just don't. I can't.
Yeah. It's fairly
There's a lot
dry.
of- There's a lot of things that happen. And they're not really, you can imagine, those are like classic, those would have been the classic shamblers. That would have been like basically skeletons, right?
Yeah.
Right?
like,
It
yeah.
wouldn't have been that. I mean, unless you were in a sea of them, you know, they might catch hold of you.
Well, I mean, that does sound frightening, though. I mean,
Yeah, it's
just the
cool.
fact- yeah, it does sound really cool.
I love it.
Okay.
Sounds like it would look
Well,
great in animation.
What is this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I was about to say, I
true.
mean, do like a little animation of that. That could be pretty cool. But then, I mean,
Well, I'm pretty sure Steven had a theory as far as
Yes.
like where the sequel could potentially go. Steven, you were talking about that. What was that again?
Daywalker.
Yeah, well, with the language that I've been using, I'm saying that Vandero seems to be maybe set up to be like a zombie Blade, like a Daywalker.
Oh,
Like
cool.
maybe does he because he took so much longer to turn than everybody
Sure.
else, and
But then again, the
Yeah,
bite
but
wasn't
the one
as.
thing I would say is Vandero wasn't hurt, right?
No, yeah.
He wasn't hurt.
I watched it. He never got really bit, quote unquote.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like the bite doesn't really. I mean, it breaks the skin a little bit. Not like a chunk came out of him.
Well,
I
he was
would
also
say-
exposed to, like, some
it's
radiation.
It's a fair conversation. Like in my mind, it's like everyone else, whether you have a gunshot wound or you were in a helicopter crash or whatever happened, you're kind of fucked up. Other than being bit, so like, there's a chance you would have just died of the
Bleeding out.
injuries
Yeah.
you had. But Vandero is 100% fine except for that. And maybe that, but also Vandero's pretty like, he's a special. He's got
he's more self-aware.
you know.
Yeah.
And when you see in the animated prequel, Vandero does something happens to him too. So that kind of explains why he's so.
Well, and there was somebody on Twitter that was like, Zeus is the alpha and now Vandero is the omega.
Omega. Well, you have the
it was
Omega,
kind of cool.
the Omega brand. So
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I-
like, meanwhile, all of us are like, "Oh, is that a dark side Easter egg?" And it's like, yeah, maybe a little bit, but there's also meaning for this actual movie.
It's cool that it's like now it's getting real meta because
Yes.
it's like yes. It's like it's two
So you're telling me it was meta when Amari was like, he was kind of like, oh, should you come back, when Dave and they were asking him, hey, do you want to come back? And he was like, fine, yes, I guess I'll come back. I mean, was that the meta part? Because I feel like
it
that
could
was
be cathartic.
yeah, exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, that's Zach right there, just writing. Yeah, it could be cathartic. You know what?
could be
I'll come back.
cathartic.
Fuck it.
It's not for the money, that's for sure.
No. Yeah, because he's the only one that asked. He never asked what.
Doesn't care
I
about
mean,
money.
yeah, he never asked how much he's getting paid, or they don't even tell him how much he's getting paid. They just, all right, here, you come in and do it.
Interesting.
Naka doesn't care about the money.
He does not
Yeah.
care about the money. I know. That's what.
That was our favorite line. Like Garrett would just say that. I would say like almost in every visual effects review. I'd just be like, Tanaka doesn't care about the money.
That's good. So when it comes to Easter eggs, have you seen the theories and ever people pointing out Easter? I mean, obviously you have one very awesome Easter egg, in which I think I was the only person in my theater I was laughing my ass off, was the Larry Fong one.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of. I mean, that was fantastic.
My friend was in the theater and he saw it and he said there was a big laugh at the Larry Fong thing. And then I go, and he goes, yeah, and I don't even think these people were in the industry. I'm like, okay. They were either in the industry or they're like crazy fans. Nobody laughs at that. Even if you know who Larry is and you just casually know, I don't know if that it's, I mean, yes, for a certain group, that's funny. But
Yes.
for, my dad does not, and my dad knows Larry. But it'd be like, why'd you put Larry in the movie? It wouldn't be like, but I think that's cool. So yes, that's one.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
I liked
And by the
how
way, one cool thing is, Larry shot the picture.
Oh.
I said, Larry, I need a picture of you with like some playing cards. He was like, what? And I was like, just because I want to put it in the thing I'm doing. And he was like, okay. But yeah, so that was cool.
That is awesome. No, but so when it comes to like any other Easter eggs that people have pointed out, is there a bunch that we still haven't found? We got to watch. We're gonna have to watch it probably like.
Well, I mean, like, what has people found? Like that one?
That's the thing.
There's more.
Yeah, I mean, is anybody? I mean, like I said, I watched it the second time. I was trying to look. I was trying to scan, but You know, I don't know if there's like certain numbers that are on like a crate or a license plate, or, you know, or is there like something scribbled in the dirt? I'm like looking at trying to everything.
What's the deal with killing Michael Cassidy in the desert in the beginning of your movie?
Yeah,
I
man.
love that.
Yeah.
Michael's always going to die in the desert in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Way. Michael's like,
Well-
also the funny thing about that is like Michael's amazing, right? And I'm like, Michael, I have this. There's like the beginning of the movie. There's this really amazing part, and I really need a great actor because it's really he's kind of like a big. There's a little bit of comedy, and he's kind of got to be serious, and it's like there's a, you know what I mean? There's like a, it's like sophisticated part, and I just need the right guy. And I go, would you do it? It's only a week of work and whatever. He was like, okay, I'll do it for you. I'll do it or whatever. And I was like, that's amazing. So he comes out to shoot. And because of the weather and the way I wanted to shoot it, it was 5 days. You stay out there for 6 weeks, right?
Oh
Because
my God.
we, I just kept delaying. And I'd be like, oh, shit. Like, we had a thunderstorm. I don't know what happened, but a ton of things. Like, I kept going, I think we got a lot of it, but not all of it. And like, on and on. And he was like, my God, are you kidding me? Like, by the very end, he was like, this better be awesome. But yeah, he was a sport, but it was pretty funny.
Good guy.
Well, what about the? Because I was confused because I wasn't sure if that was a homage to, the Long Night or Game of Thrones, but the robots that were there and the blue eyes. I mean, what are that? Is that sentient like robots? Like what? I don't get it because obviously if they could be turned, then that would mean that they would have some sentient, right?
I would imagine that has a little bit to do with like whether or not, at what level. This is just me. At what level
the director,
the government's involved in the like either the surveilling, the direct assistance, something in that realm, like these, because I would say not all of the zombies are robots, obviously.
Right.
Just a certain small percentage. And so they are.
That's funny.
Like
true,
that.
but it's funny. A little bit. But yeah, so I think that again, in the animated series, it's very clear what's happening with those guys. You find out. I mean, I really can't wait for you to see it because it's hilarious. And like, it's funny because like even just doing the animated series is really interesting because it's 2 hours of material, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you realize like that's like another movie, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I take it super seriously. I direct, but I kind of like, I'm involved in every episode pretty intensely, but I directed the first and the last episodes myself. And then Jay is doing the second episode and the second to last. And then we got a couple other guys doing the middle ones. But yeah, it's fun because it's fun to like not care about the budget for the visuals.
Yes, I'm sure.
So
yeah,
scale is not an issue.
That's true. That's the good thing about animation. And then fourth right here, wanted to know if like the significance of the blood splatter that with zombie that triggers the compression trap, when it's like comes apart. He said it looks like a creature design or a Japanese text. Is there any kind of Easter egg with?
You mean that Rorschach kind of?
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Rorschach. That's what it looks like.
Whatever you want it to be.
What about pretty clouds?
Or that. It would be pretty clouds. Like, yeah, when you look up to the sky and he's like, "Wow, that cloud looks like a pirate ship or something." Could just be that, guys. Could just be that. Could be that. So, like, when it came to the very beginning, I mean, you didn't hold back right away because I didn't even spot it the first time when I actually saw it on the big screen, which I'm disappointed in myself because I usually see it. But obviously, there's two little lights in the sky. They see, and then all of a sudden they go, And I must say, I mean, again, I don't know if you're like, are you just a prophet? Because when it comes to like, temperature guns, which of course we were using a lot this past year, talk about that. And then we've been talking about UFOs for the past, 2 fucking weeks,
Yeah.
and and then all of a sudden, like in the opening of your movie, there's 2 little UFOs that just kind of do that.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not involved with the secret government or anything. I promise. Sure you're not. Anyway, it is fun. Yes, that is definitely part of I guess for me and even just talking about that opening bit, like the whole what's funny is the container has is being sent. If you look at it has Arabic writing on it, right? So it's being sent to Iran, and I think it's an address in Iran. It's some sort of that's probably some sort of rogue part of the government is trying to start a war or do something crazy.
I knew there was a reason. I told you guys there had to be. But why couldn't they have picked a route around major cities? Like, why did they were like, hey, let's take this.
I don't know that they were trying to go straight to Vegas. I think that they just got, because Zeus kind of just ended up going over that fictional hill. That was always funny. I was like, he looks down on Vegas, and we're like, from where? And I'm like, from that awesome hill that you go and make out with your girlfriend, and you look down on it's the same hill that's in E.T.
Cars.
Yeah, there you go. Every movie has that hill that looks over that city.
There's got to be a hill with that.
There's always a hill.
City.
It's the makeout hill in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's what
Killer
Oh,
Clowns.
man.
There you go.
That's good.
That movie fucked me up.
Oh man, come on.
A buddy of mine, my co-host, wanted to ask if if this is an Easter egg, and it's funny. If the snap neck was an Easter egg to Zod's snap neck back in Man of Steel. Tell that to
Is it an Easter egg or is it just an extreme?
Exactly,
it's an extreme version.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, I don't remember the bone coming out of Zod's neck.
Was that the way I wanted to shoot it?
God, that'd have been funny.
PG-13 version.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus.
It is. Yeah. Clearly, it's the non-PG-13 version. It's really upsetting too that Anna, when we were talking about that, you can't see it necessarily, but I had this idea that her head gets twisted around, and then I wanted her to reach out for him. But,
oh no!
But she reaches the wrong way because her head she reaches backwards.
Oh, that's so mean.
Oh my god,
that's twisted.
That's twisted.
Yeah, literally fucking twisted.
No, that scene fucked me up because I wasn't expecting that. I was like, okay, they just shared that sweet moment. All right, cool. And then all of a sudden, that just happened, and I was like, fuck. All right, shit.
Oh, dude.
By the way, Batista does a great job in that scene because he's just like, what? Even me, I'm a badass, and I've been fighting zombies a lot, but that shit was fucked up.
It was fucked up.
Cool.
The entire theater that when I saw it, man, everybody went. I mean, there was a tire gap that happened where it was just that was probably one of the most top 3 shocking moments of the entire flick because the whole theater was and then with the bone just going out perfect. It was oh my god.
Yeah, I know that's crazy.
And also loved it, watched it in the theaters and watched it again this morning. And as I'm we're reaching the end and I'm just all of a sudden tears are pouring down my face. Well
that's
done.
big.
I don't know how you make a zombie movie that makes me cry.
I apologize and I kind of don't. So it's
don't apologize. It was great.
It's you want that. You want that, but you don't want people to feel sad. But you want that. Yeah, you want that reaction.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want it to be real for you, but I don't want it to not also Yeah.
I came home from the theater and told Steven right away.
Oh yeah.
I immediately like drew a lot of connections that I think you were aiming for when I saw Zeus put his ear to
the belly.
Yes, and like immediately cut either right after or right before Dieter having his ear on the safe.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful. Loved it. Mwah, love it.
Awesome.
Anyway, hi Meg. Hi Dave. Hi. Is that Garza?
Yeah.
That's
It is,
no. That's Bert Cummings. That's Bert.
That's
Cummings.
Bert Cummings.
No, they're just
That's Theo.
All right. I'm gonna get back to my project.
Cummings.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
yeah.
Yeah,
They,
everybody's been making that comparison that he looks like Theo right there. So yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
Apparently, yeah. I guess it's whatever. I mean, it's true. Hey, I gotta ask though. This is off topic on Army though, real quick.
Yeah.
You threw out a name of who you wanted to work with, and I'm just shocked that you were like on point about the name, which is Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Like, is that a ploy or was that a hint?
It was 100%. Well, I'm just being honest. I didn't have any.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Okay.
Well,
I think it's because we know that you have like this other idea for a female protagonist sci-fi flick. So we're kind of wondering, like, I mean, I think Sam Wynn would probably be,
Well, Sam Wynn, of course, I
yeah.
You know how I feel about Sam Wynn. That's
yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But then Garza brought up that you mentioned that you wanted to work with Anne Hathaway. So we're kind of going, has that already been conversations had or what's going on?
No, I'll say no conversation been had. I was literally just fanning out. Like, well, it's funny. We did a thing for Men's Health. I just did. I don't know when it goes up. Maybe it has already. I don't think so. But I was saying.
You did an interview recently?
Wait. You just
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did train like Zack Snyder. They came to my gym. It's gonna be embarrassing, but anyway, they were like at the end. They were like, "Who do you think trains? Other than your guys, who trains well, and who would you want to like work with and train with?" And I was like, I don't know. I go. Hugh Jackman did it pretty good.
Yeah,
I just think
I would say so.
Good. What's that?
I would say so. Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman does it. He does it pretty good. And I'm like, like Jason Statham's been in some pretty good shape.
Kind of, yeah. He's all right.
And then I said, and I go, and I'd also like to get. I don't know if you ever saw that, but I go, I'd love to get lumped up in the Iron Paradise and not play tiddlywinks or tell nursery rhymes. I don't know if you ever saw. So with The Rock, because like The Rock, because there was like he tweeted out one time because he like. I guess I don't know how he hit his head in the gym, but he was like,
I think I remember that.
And he goes, sometimes we get lumped up in the Iron Paradise, right? and I was like, I want to get lumped up. And and the lady was like, we were doing the interview and she goes, what is that?
What are you even talking?
I'm like, do you not work for the health mag, the Men's Health? Like, don't you know when the Rock tweets about working out?
That's great.
Oh, it's Sage.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Hi.
You're dancing.
Adorable.
That's
no,
nice.
but so somebody in the chat actually wanted to ask. Hey, there she is. Somebody in the chat wanted to ask: is Zeus basically zombie Leonidas?
Yeah. Well.
After what he did to the coyote and pretty much convinced me. The spear. Kind of like a spear. Yeah.
Well, it's a piece of rebar, but
yeah.
It works like a spear, clearly. Yeah, that's cool.
That is, he does have a cape, right? He has a red cape.
Fine. He has a red cape, not just a cape.
Well, I was going to say, so he's got the red cape, but he's also got the mask that comes down halfway down his face.
Yeah.
How intentional is the red cape and the black? He's
armored
mask is all.
Well, we thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's another question that's probably going to be answered in like the prequel stuff. Is like how does Zeus like Zeus realizes that, hey, if I put this over my head, I'm not going to get killed like all these other fuckers that, you know, just want to ravage.
Too bad it's not ballistic helmets for all my friends.
I know. Yeah, he just has it for himself. Like, well, I'm good.
It's the kind of thing, like, I don't know if he's 100%, like, you know, they're not manufacturing ballistic helmets, okay? So
really? It is Vegas, though. It is Vegas.
They're not quite like that smart, right? They're like, you know, you can imagine that they're just on the verge of, you know, any minute now he's gonna go like this way. And you're like, wait, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ape did this.
Like, yeah, exactly.
We were laughing because I was like, we had this whole, I did this riff when Zeus was like holding the baby.
Yes.
I was like, oh, we should do like a like Zeus like closes his eyes and you see them, like you see him and his son like walking through like some post-apocalyptic rubble, and the kid like, you know, the kid like lets go of his father's hand and then like pulls some rocks, and there's like an old like ABC's book, like you know, and then we see him like they're somewhere and he's like with like a thing, like he's like 10 and he's like making letters and drawing things, and then like whatever, and then I was like, in the end he's like holding his dead father in like the reflecting pool in Washington DC, and he's screaming, "Father!" and the White House is on fire and everything.
Oh man!
And because like when, you know, this, when someone would ask me like, "Well, what is it? What does that mean? Like, what is it like?" You know, like I'd be like, "So he holds the zombie baby," and they're like, "Well, what does it mean?" And I'd be like, "Okay, it means this."
That's quite a picture painted right there.
Yeah. It was like, okay, I get it.
Well, I actually have a question though. Does it? Because I don't think it's explained in the film, but do they know that a nuke is going to kill these zombies? Like, I feel like.
Does who know?
I mean, does the government, the president, do they know that this nuke is going to kill them? Because
I think that at that point it's a cover up in case, and enough has been. They're scared enough at this point. There might be something else happening, but somewhere else that they need to stop this now. So like Christian Slater is in the animated series. He plays this guy Torrance, who's really responsible in a lot. He's a government guy who's, you find this out like in the first 5 minutes of the animated series. So I'm not really ruining it. He's the guy, he's tip of the spear for the whole thing. And that in the animated series, you know, Harry Lennox weirdly plays the Secretary of Defense.
What? What are you talking about? I think he's being typecasted.
I know. And he's on his way. He's on his way to Vegas to like arrest Torrance.
Interesting.
Okay. So that means that Nora wouldn't be the queen and survive this blast, because we didn't see her die either. We just see her get sniffed and.
Wow, but by the way, we don't know. What we don't know is, you know, what their, you know, where anybody is at the time of the blast.
Yeah,
and
that's
Vandero
true.
Clearly was in a spot. I mean, he's probably in the best place.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, last time we saw Dieter, he was close to the best place.
Yeah, that's very true.
Anyway.
So, hey, somebody was asking, what was your favorite death? What was your favorite death in the movie? Well, someone also asked about Sucker Punch too. Sorry. Two very different questions. Sorry.
Martin.
Yes. Oh, that was so disgusting. I loved
Martin bite is so. When that came in, I couldn't stop laughing. You know?
I mean, was that modeled after The Revenant? I mean, like, was that the whole idea?
Was it modeled after The Revenant? I mean, we talked about The Revenant, like, because there's not a lot of like movie reference for like a tiger like tossing that person around for 3 or 4 minutes, you know, and clawing him and biting him and then just chewing his face off. Like we didn't really have a lot of like. I was like, well, what? So I would say like, well, it should be like sort of like The Revenant, but like our version.
Way worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that with the zombie tiger, there's like a spot where all the zombies are like closing in on them. The tiger literally just like lays down on top of the hood of
I love that.
and yawns. The tiger yawns
too, because I was like, I want to make sure that you don't think, because I knew that Valentine was going to kill Martin, and I knew by then we would hate Martin.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to not hate the tiger too much. So I was like, let's do something. I go, maybe you just make him sit down, kind of like a cat or a dog.
Yeah, that's
like
what it was like.
Like you look at him and you're like, oh, he seems, that's kind of.
Yeah. I kind of want to pet him.
Yeah. Like I want him like here by my fireplace, you know, curled up on his favorite bed.
Yeah. I mean,
he's not so bad.
Nah.
So
No, I'm sorry, Jessica.
So it wasn't the tiger that attacked Roy then? It's not the same tiger?
That
was a joke.
Roy?
Yes, exactly. That would have been I don't.
Well, that leads me to my second.
In the greatest taste, but it would have been. That's why this tiger, we made sure that its name was Valentine, so that it had a very particular history.
Well, is there going to be? Is there a history explored?
Is that, you know?
Yeah. Is there a history explored with Valentine in the prequels?
We do see Valentine become Valentine.
Ooh, there it is. There it is. Meg, did you have anything? What questions did you have?
Oh, I wanted to ask about the Queen stuff, but Garza kind of hit on that about Coyote, if she becomes the new queen or what happens with her.
Kind of wondering about that.
Yeah. But no, I love the movie, and Martin's death was I gagged. It was disgusting. I loved it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I took my mom. She hates this stuff, and she absolutely loved it.
See, that's
because the movie is like also, you know, it's more of a, you know, I mean, there's some creepy things in it, but it's not like a super scary movie.
It's not really a scary movie at all.
It's not like, it's not really in that. It's more of like it's literally like it's a mission movie, you know, more than anything else, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the whole concept of, you know, going over the wall or going into enemy territory is very much like, you know, was the thing that we modeled pretty heavily, you know. Whether it be like Dirty Dozen or whatever, you know, where they have to, you know, just even making the truce, you know, the temporary deal.
Yeah.
And then going back on the deal. Which I really always loved. And I really love that scene.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the Martin character, I mean, one of the things I took away from it when you said, you know, obviously there's inspirations from Aliens. And obviously, you got the group dynamic, and even Chambers kind of is like a Vasquez looking, you know, type character. But at the same time, I like the fact that Martin was kind of like in Aliens. There's Burke, Paul Reiser's character, who kind of tries to fuck over the group just to get a specimen back because he wants to get that specimen. He was kind of hired on. He was like that team member that's like, I got to get a specimen, something back, so we can do something with something. So that kind of reminded me of that little parallel with that character, which I thought was pretty cool.
Sure. But also I think Martin's funny because he's very much like, you know, of course, you know, Lily is his, like, you know, I mean, Lily gets him in the end.
Yeah.
You know, by switching out the heads. So he doesn't really. She kind of gets her revenge, which I think, via Valentine, of course, but
she does.
It's good that I was glad that happened.
Yeah.
But I like that he's so funny. Also, just Garrett's hilarious, and he's like, there's a great moment when she says, when she speaks, when she goes, if you fuck me,
I'll put two in your head.
Yeah. And then he said, no, yeah, because before that she says, what she says in French, Capri?
Oh.
What is it? Understand. How do you say understand in French?
No idea.
Anyway,
no idea.
From Garrett, where when she says it, he goes like I don't like he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that she's saying understand in French. I mean, it's obvious, but like he makes a face of like, oh, you spoke French, so I'm out. I don't know.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you talking about?
It's a hilarious reaction. It's pretty funny. And then when he says to her like moron, he's funny.
I see. I what's that?
He's like, I got you twice.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then I also like when Lily was holding up the head, and she's got the gun up to it. She's, I'm gonna. I forgot exactly what she said.
Blow her head off.
Yeah.
Again.
I'll blow it off again.
More off.
There it is. Yes. So, yeah, that was a great line. I just started laughing my ass off because like she's literally holding a severed head, even though it's moving, and she's threatening to kill it again. I guess you could say.
It was really cool. Well, when we did that bit. We had two. We had a radio-controlled head.
Nice.
For the wides, and for anything else, it was just like Athena sitting on the dolly, and
just kind of.
Yeah, and if you look, she just there's a lot of discipline to not move your head a little bit. Because,
she had to act. Yeah, she basically.
She does a ton of she's kind of pleading with her eyes. It's really strong.
Well, that actually leads me to another question is, okay, well, two things. How come when the head exploded, there was no blue whatever, but yet the baby had the blue stuff, right? I mean,
and so did
that significant?
Yeah, I think that, just saying that,
right.
I think that he passed it on, but it wasn't inherent.
It wasn't. Okay. And then the other thing is,
she's not a direct, that would have been the baby would have been a direct descendant of Zeus.
Got it.
Not.
So is that line.
She was special, and I think she was cool, and she was clearly strong, but not
his level.
Is that line severed
whatever
then? Or could Vanderhoof hypothetically pick up where he left off?
I think theoretically, yes. I want to say theoretically, yes, because there can only be one alpha at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but
well then, so if her head was still movable, right? Would that mean that if she was somehow conjoined back to her body with it, I mean, is that even possible? I don't.
Ooh.
We always thought it'd be cool to put her head on Valentine's body.
Oh.
Cool. Cool.
There's an idea.
If Valentine went to sleep, and you laid the head there, and in the morning when you come back,
it just morphed
somehow.
Just latched on.
I don't know.
It'd be like the Thing.
Body snatchers.
Yeah, like the John Carpenter's The Thing, or something. Ooh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
You've been watching too much Rick and Morty, I think.
Oh, I know. That's what it sounded like.
Is that even possible?
Nope. You could binge watch that all the time. Needs to be alive. One thing I wanted to ask you, Zach, was with the Dream Lens, which I thought created this great aesthetic with the whole film, and I thought it was great, especially on the big screen. But I wanted to ask about when it came to putting Tig into the film. Did that having the dream lens, was that make it harder or easier to put her into the film?
It made it. I think it was a combo, but like by then Marcus had figured out the lenses a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we kind of know how they work. So in some ways, you know, there's more out of focus, right? Because of that. So, you know, it's slightly forgiving, but it's also trickier because the depth of field is really short. So in the close-up stuff, it's really tricky.
Yeah.
But it worked out. I mean, there's a lot of like, if you look, here's the thing to look for. When Tig walks up to the fence to talk to Anna and Dave, like we put in her glasses in the reflection is Anna and Dave.
That's cool.
Because they weren't there, you know. And I was like, oh, that's
gotta
cool.
put that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's those little details. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my God. I mean, I thought it was pretty seamless. I mean, obviously, since we kind of knew what the deal was, I'm sitting there looking for like any little, you know, I got my jeweler's loop out and like trying to look, but I mean, it was pretty seamless. I mean, and I know like it took like what 2 weeks to shoot Tig. Yeah. And when that had to happen, I mean, did you kind of just go, you know what, this is going to be fun to see if I could pull this off? Did you kind of like?
I didn't say that necessarily.
Okay. I was wondering. I'm like, did you take it on? Yeah.
I was nervous, but you know, it was a little bit exciting. The challenge was a little bit exciting. Well, I mean, the loading dock scene was really the hardest.
Which one?
And by the way, I'm the most proud of it because it came out so good. The triage scene.
Oh yeah. Because I was wondering about that.
It literally looked like she was right there.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking like, you know, I'm thinking of heights and like I'm trying to look at Dave's like, you know, where is he looking when it comes to that? And I was kind of going, man, that looks like like they're actually there. Like that spot particularly was pretty damn like 100% seamless. Like I didn't spot. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Good shot.
That was crazy because also, so we had like Tig's friend read with her.
Ah, okay.
And he's the same size as Dave, same height.
There you go.
The eye line, but it was really tricky because, like, we counted the steps, right? So, say it's 18 steps before they turn and talk to each other. But on like the 15th step, she had to, when she starts the dialogue, it was like, so it's like, I don't know, 8 steps before they stop. And so Tig's friend who was doing the acting with her, he had to count them silently because when he stops, she stops. And then they, you know, continue the dialogue. And it's tricky because, well, obviously it's tricky because there's a guy trying to count the correct amount of steps to stop so she can stop in the same spot and look at him and not be, you know, too far forward, too far back. So yeah, it was really like, it was crazy exercise, but it was fun.
Yeah. I thought you guys you nailed it pretty good. I mean, I think we all kind of, like I said, just because we knew what was there. So obviously we're like, but I think normal people are just going to be like, oh yeah, Tig Notaro, look at that.
I know. I've talked to a lot of press.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah.
You know what I love too about some of the press that you've done? I love the fact because you did recently, you did some interviews where, I mean, obviously when it comes to like what is it called? The dome or whatever.
The volume.
What's it called?
The volume.
Yes. And it's like, you know, Mandalorian used it for actual episodes, blah, blah, blah. You used it just for your background for press. I thought that was badass.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I know. It's like, I mean, Netflix.
Actually, you know what? That's a brilliant question. I've been wanting to ask this. Like, what do you think is the possibility of what you could get away with in using that kind of a facility? I mean,
I've been spending a lot of time down there, just kind of playing around, just to see what testing and experimenting. I was there today, and
man,
doing what?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there.
It's just funny because I said the same exact, like literally almost word for word, same thing. And Steven over there in the corner, he gave me shit for it. He was like, "No, I'm just not. I'm not a fan of it because of the certain things." And I was
Putting
like,
words in my mouth.
"Yeah, no, I'm gaslighting.
No, it's okay.
I'm gaslighting."
I was skeptical.
No, I like it. I think that there are maybe, depending on who's doing it, some limitation. Like on when I've seen productions that use it, sometimes you can see it staged like a stage. You could be like, oh, there's a group of people clumped there, and they're weirdly not interacting with that portion of the screen.
Yeah. 100%.
And so my brain is just like and knowing how they shoot it, my brain just kind of reverse engineers it. But I imagine that's more of a prep blocking kind of issue than, is there anything you can't, you think that would be like a clear, like there's no way that type of shot or scene could be constructed in there that would need to be on site or on a huge, much bigger soundstage?
Yeah, I mean, I really think if you're think about 300, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were in a really small soundstage for most of that movie, right? You'd be shocked. I mean, we only had 25. We had 25 on 25 was the biggest war we ever did, right?
Wow.
And so that felt like a pretty big war. And I feel like, so you can be, and that was a while, and that was with really very minimal. I mean, yes, there were a lot of special effects, but it was very rudimentary. Trust me, it was the most, wasn't fancy. I think with like some cool, there's a lot of cool things you can do. Like I was like, oh, you do a thing like where, say a guy's in a field, right, or whatever. Even if he like picks up a rock and throws it, you can comp the rock into the reality of the screen pretty easily. Any object, that suddenly makes you not know where the edge of the set is. Your brain, because you're looking for the cues that tell you where the two seams are, right? It's all about trying to erase those in the viewer's mind, like because the Z is where you feel it, right? Because like sort of this way and that way, you can imagine that there's no screen, but it's this front and back that makes you go like, okay, there's something back there. They can't go back there clearly, or they would, and I think it's like, it's tricking the audience in that way so that but we'll see. I mean, I agree. There are definitely limits. But I think it's good. Like if you're clever, with it, I think it's got a lot of potential, but we'll see.
It's true. True.
Well, and it's because you could also use film too in it, right? Have you been doing film, or you also been doing just digital?
You can definitely use film.
Yeah.
But I've been doing. I mean, I would just have my cameras and I was just playing around.
Sounds about right.
I have a question that's not related to any of this. Did you see the Haynes accepted a challenge?
Yes.
Of Chris Dawson asked Haynes,
if Z-neck?
Yes. So they want to donate 3,000 socks, shirts, and masks to a charity of your choice through Haynes for Good program.
There it is. Yeah. Because we all, I mean, I even.
It's like you're kind of known for V-neck, white V-necks.
I mean, when it comes to superhero costumes, we're all like, we like Batman's, we like the black suit Superman, Wonder Woman, and we also like your superhero costume, which is the V-neck. I mean, I figured you had like a bat cave full of, just right there, and you just pull them down. But you have a stack, right?
I do have I have a double stack right now. It's like this and this.
I'll send you their tweet so you can see it. It's really cool.
I did see it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we have to do? Do I have to do something? Do I go? I need to.
I don't know.
They already did it.
Retweet it.
Yeah.
They wanted it retweeted 3,000 times or something, and it was done in a couple hours.
Oh, we did it.
Oh,
it got done so easily.
Already done. Yeah.
You guys,
you just got to name your charity.
Wait a minute. It was 3,000.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's like a joke.
Yeah.
Right. True. It happened real quick.
300,000.
That's something. Yeah.
Like
got to pump those numbers up.
Challenge.
Yeah. You got to pump or 1.5 million.
Yeah. I'll thank them.
Yes, do that. Please do that.
Thank you,
And
James. You know where I live.
Yeah.
Justin, do you have anything else?
I'm good.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask also, like, I'm kind of interested because I feel like there's been like an exponential curve of not really talking about the differences between studios as far as Netflix and Warner Brothers, but I think it's become abundantly clear that Netflix is maybe the right place for you guys, for you and your wife Deb. And I feel like I'd much rather see you, enjoying yourself being a director and being able to have this creative freedom than for a studio to be like, nope, I don't want that. I don't want that. You can't do that. Please don't do that. Don't shoot it.
Oh, Anne. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I mean, it's, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that,
pretty
the
much.
thing is that it's the difference between, playing defense. It's like, I feel like a lot of the sort of WB decisions were like defensive, like trying to protect something rather than being aggressively like, let's just fucking go for it. Like, what do you like? This is entertainment. Like, how do we, what can we do to offer the audience an experience? And I just don't know that that's like a conversation that really happens, and I think that, I don't know. I like, as you guys know, I had a great time making this movie, and sort of even just like the opportunities that we've gotten to expand it and kind of, that's been really amazing. And I think that, I don't know, it's real fun. It's like I said, it's been a good time.
Yeah, and I liken it to basically like if you got into a new relationship with somebody, a significant other, and you're having the best of times, and your ex is like, they were the toxic one, in the relationship, and you were just kind of like going through it, and all of a sudden people are like, hey, how come you're not with your ex though? And you're like, I'm in a new relationship. Why are we even bringing that up? I'm having a good time with this new person. So why not have a good time?
It's true.
Sure. One thing I wanted to ask you to just for
the new relationship doesn't
it doesn't try to tell you what to do.
No, the new relationship's not even it's not asking you, well, what happened with you and your ex though?
Yeah.
What happened with that? No, it's like, hey, look, we're in a new relationship. Like, I'm not bringing anything up. Let's go.
Do what you want. Yeah. What do you want to do? And one of the things actually I was going to bring up.
It's like a Darman video or something.
When it came to like using actual casinos in Las Vegas, I mean, obviously you love Excalibur so much. Did you try to utilize like the actual Excalibur casino hotel at all?
We were trying to be, you have to kind of like if you're going to use the strip, you have to kind of use everybody kind of in the same level.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't, like, we weren't trying to destroy anyone more than others or make a deal with someone and not these guys, because there's, it's just like we wanted to just treat. That's why we created our own casinos.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like, a way not to have these guys get mad because those guys got included, and then even if they said no, now I see these guys did yes, and so now I'm mad that you guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like Vegas. Yeah.
What?
Just like Vegas. Fucking Vegas.
Yeah, I just felt like there might be, we were all like, it's better not to like let's just treat the whole thing, everybody equally, and allow it to just be a big haunted mansion.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, what was the reason you decided to set it in Vegas? Was it just the proximity to Area 51, or was there like a more deeper thematic reason for it?
I think there is a deeper thematic reason. There is that whole,
Sin City.
It is our Sodom in a way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
I caught that one. One of the towers was Gomorrah, right?
Yeah, both of the Sodom and Gomorrah, the two
Nice.
towers.
I didn't catch that. Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And that's good. And you know, Tanaka says it. Yeah, and I just like, you know, it goes back to the whole kind of sort of concept of mass consumerism and like this idea that, you know, that Vegas is like heaven and hell, you know.
True.
It's like this limbo world, you know, which we, you know, like when I, you know, like people say, oh, time doesn't matter there, and there's all these things.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you hit that time loop theory again.
I just
See the time thing.
I know.
I'm telling you, you were fucking with me with that fucking like. I mean, when I was dwelling on that, even after the scene was done, I was like, oh fuck, there's some kind of time loop thing. I gotta figure this out. I was just totally going. My brain was just doing this, and it's still doing this. And even when you just said that right now, and Justin's now going insane.
I'm going nuts since he said there was something else going on the other side of the world at the same time, which implies perhaps that somebody is infested over there as well. So maybe the entire point of the time loop is to get Van inside the quote-unquote womb, as Steven's wife pointed out, so he could become the more advanced, more evolved alpha zombie, and then he could lead our zombie army against their zombie army.
Jeez.
That's cool.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I know, right?
That's cool.
Like, you need somebody to help you out.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, that's just my mind went nuts.
It's fine. It's good. I'm not going to say it's less complicated than that. But...
and then all of a sudden the Flash shows up and all hell breaks loose.
Oh, yeah, we were laughing at the. Well, no, I'm not going to tell them.
Oh, come on!
Damn.
Well, we were just saying that, like, you know, after the deal with Discovery, I was like, oh, I mean, is there like, I wonder if there's going to be any cross.
Oof. That's what we were kind of wondering too. Like, who's getting nervous over there?
But are there going to be cameos? Like,
oh yeah.
Well, but like who though? Like who's under Discovery? We talking about like what, the chefs? What are they?
The chef. We're talking about Flash. The Flash is going to go on 90 Day Fiancé.
We talking about remodeling homes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
you know,
I think that me personally, I saw that move as a very that was an ATT thing. Listen, we appreciate what you thought you could do, but you're not cutting it, so we need more money to spend. Because I mean, $3 billion compared to Netflix is almost $17-18 billion in budget. I mean, that's as a filmmaker like you are, Zach. Like, I can only imagine, like, when they pitched you, or I guess when you pitched them Army, and then they started talking about, okay, well, if we could do these spinoffs, I mean, surely it's almost like getting a $250 million budget of content on your side, right?
You mean, well, I mean, what it is it's about us. You know, first of all, we don't really even think about it in those terms, other than that there's a hunger for the IP and the creative. Mm-hmm. You know, where instead of the opposite, you know, like which is you know the restraining, I guess, of the
mm-hmm.
content. So, you know, for me, it was, you know, I'm being as physically responsible as I can. I want to give them these amazing things, but we made our German language movie cost not a lot, even though it looks amazing. And the animated series isn't that expensive, but it's for me, it's important because it expands the universe, you know, and it really kind of fills in a great way. You know, if there was at any point a need for an Army 2,
yeah, knock on wood.
I know
anybody.
We've got all the
right.
So work is there.
So as Steven has said, I mean, you shot all your bullets in this one?
Oh hell no.
I was about to say.
I thought I did.
You
but then
plenty of bullets were shot.
Like, and then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, shit. I had like a whole belt.
Yeah.
Put on and,
You just realized you had a minigun, and you're like, wow.
yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, no. I mean, we did
Oh.
try. I did try and shoot. I did try and shoot him. I really did. But Shay kept visiting, so it was. Shay kept coming out because we were working on like, we started working on the animated series while we were shooting, and we at least writing the scripts and concepting, and same with the with Army of Thieves. We had it all like, so we had just finished shooting. I was like, yes. And meanwhile, I'm like, oh God, really? That's true. That's cool. All right, that's good. So it was a little bit of that. So, but it's exciting. The effort at the creative, at the highest, at our sort of most creative, we thought the gun was dry, but
Yeah.
we tried to. We really did.
Try to.
Well,
empty
is there a reason why Mexico City was the? I mean, does that have to do with the Mayans? I mean, I'm kind of.
Well, I mean, you can think about it in a couple ways, but you can imagine if there was a zombie outbreak in Mexico City, ain't nobody building a wall around that place.
No.
No, I know.
There it is.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, that's
interesting.
And as goes Mexico City, so goes the world, as they say.
Wow. Didn't know that was a saying.
I don't know. I just made.
Hey, that sounds like a tagline for the fucking poster right there, the
Yeah.
movie poster right there. I'm just saying for the sequel.
well on this continent at least. I mean,
Yeah.
Europe
True.
would be okay. Yeah,
True.
because I mean, from all we could, obviously they need water to survive, but can they swim? We don't know.
That's a long swim for anybody.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and also the pool's dried out in
Yeah.
the Olympus, so
I'm not down with that walking on the bottom of the ocean thing.
so they're not pulling a dragon out of the
They're
water.
not,
Okay,
yeah.
I got it. I get
Here,
it.
hold
All
these
right.
rocks and just walk to Europe.
Yeah. Hell, I'm sink down.
on the Mariana Trench. Hey,
Yeah.
there's Aquaman.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. Watch that drop off. That's a doozy.
What's that step?
Yeah. By the way, I loved your comment about the Snyder v people or the Snyder v Warner Brothers and the Lights Camera podcast or Popcorn podcast when they were talking about this is a rule now with the Snyder Cut and how it's become its own
Thing.
its own name. Yeah, its own name where it's like
To the point where it's
Justice
like
League-
it's like this, like you said, Army of the Dead is the Snyder cut. It's like
Right.
Oh yeah.
yeah, and and how they were like, if you went into a coma 10 years from now, or like you woke up 10 years later and they're like, hey, whatever happened to Justice League? And they're like, oh, you know what? The Snyder Cut law. That was the old, that's what happened. Sorry. Unfortunately, the Snyder Cut that kind of took it out and it didn't happen. And so it's like those laws, those mandated laws now. And it's kind of like, I feel like that's the same thing now. I mean, essentially everybody's asking for a sort of, hey, is this your cut? Is this your
Everybody questions it now, where it's like, hey, is there a JJ cut? Is there a Watts cut? There's so many, like, it's so mainstream now where everybody questions is like, was this what the director wanted?
Mm-hmm.
Or like a sports game will go back and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to need a Snyder cut of that game.
To make sure that you get the full thing that you're looking for, because
right.
We don't like it when it could be cooler.
Yeah, which we kind of found out in March. Yeah.
The mention of that podcast reminds me because we had a little bit of a discussion, Steve and I and a couple other people. You mentioned a different song in Legends of the Guardians of Ga'Hoole, and you said Down by the River, but did you mean the Allison Crowe song Down to the River, or did you mean the song Down by the River?
It's the
who's it by?
It's you're making me have a it's
Yep, well, pull out the phone.
Oh Jesus!
Pull some
Yeah,
new
no,
junkie.
like,
Hey,
and
that's cool too.
while you're there, do you have like a concept art for like the Adam costume or something like that? Do you have Ryan Choi's Adam costume in there?
Oh, that's cool.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like the when I heard that podcast and when I heard that law and all that, I just went, God damn! Like, I don't think there's going to be another like. I don't know how to describe it, but every time I watch a film, I'm kind of watching it, and if I can see it a little bit differently as far as edited wise, because the thing that I found that I loved about Army was that I never watched. I wasn't watching it going, well, why is it edited that way?
Mhm.
It was edited like Dottie, your film editor, I thought did a perfect job because I wasn't thinking like, man, you know what? Why is this scene in this area? Like, I didn't really understand it. It was just, it flowed all the way through. There was never and I think that's the best type of film when you don't notice the editing, where you're just like, it kind of goes.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And so,
I really love
it just felt so natural for it because, let's be real, with BVS, like, it's my favorite film. Don't get me wrong. I love the theatrical cut. I remember watching it and I was like, I don't know. I kind of feel like there's some kind of things that maybe were missing or that I needed to fill in. And then I watched the Ultimate Edition. Yeah. I saw the Ultimate Edition. I was like, oh fuck, there it goes. And I'm like, yeah, but that was the original version. So I'm like, now it makes sense. And so,
well, then you start picking it apart and find out that 1 minute at a time is also very consumable.
Exactly, which is crazy. Yeah. But that also has, I have a Justice League question then, because your editors had said that there was about 20 minutes of like stuff that they had to cut off, and I felt like there should have been 15 to 20 more minutes to Justice League, or to your film of Zack Snyder Justice League, and I felt like the only reason why it was cut out is because you were trying to fit it into these 4 1-hour episodes. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of this and a bit of that. I feel like, a lot of it just at that point, there was some stuff that I just felt like probably just got that had been so kind of just reworked before we shot it. That it kind of, that I just,
it lost its meaning. Yeah, it lost its meaning.
Yeah, for me, and they're fine. It could have been a fine scene, but just not for me. I was like, yeah, it's not.
Didn't flow.
That was not what I wanted to do. That was not. Thank God we took that out. The scene that we did, that I did under duress. We call it the Justice Bus scene.
Is
that with the food? Is that the food and the nickname and all the?
Is this where Lightning Lad
burger? The burger.
Yeah. Okay. So Lightning Lad was brought.
Let him explain it.
Yes,
he shot it.
You guys know a little bit about it, clearly.
I remember. Yeah, I was told about this.
Yeah, so we shot this scene and everyone thought it was hilarious, except for me.
Everyone thought it was. We got to get the quotes up. Everyone thought it was hilarious.
Thought it was hilarious, and I was like, "This is just the worst thing I've ever seen." I was like, "Pull the film out of the camera for God's sake." Somebody put a bullet in that mag right there.
Damn, wouldn't you look at that? They left the lens cap on.
Anyway, but we, so there's a few things like that. Not a lot, every now and then, that I was just like, guys, we can't. This is
dumb. This is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
I know. I should be called Lightning Lad. Yeah.
It's like hilarious.
Hilarious in a stupid fucking way.
Comedy here, and I was like, no. Really don't.
I know. I know your we know your thoughts on inserting comedy into movies that it doesn't belong into. But I think through a lot of the press you've been doing recently, there's a lot of people who maybe didn't follow you as closely before who are like, wow, this Zack Snyder guy is actually pretty funny. Would you have any interest ever in directing a comedy? And if you did, what would a Zack Snyder comedy
I thought
look
I
like?
did, but we talked about the Martin Mulling. That's That's a punchline and everything.
That's pretty funny.
How about Anna's neck break?
Yeah,
I mean,
and the reaching.
I get it.
Yeah. The hands reaching the wrong way. That's horrible. I mean, I don't know. In my mind, I don't have like a straight comedy,
Yeah.
that I can think. You know what I mean? That's like wall to wall, like just comedy. I don't know if I could. If I did the Rick and Morty movie, that's probably about the closest.
Oh my God! Please let that happen, please.
Jesus.
Oh.
So, so one of the things I noticed that was different in Army that I thought was its own character, obviously with the whole the dream lens. I thought that was its own character, and I really appreciated it.
Definitely
But
was. Yeah.
there was a couple, like when I first saw it, I was like, I remember walking away going, I don't remember any like hero shots or like comic book splash page shots. And I even questioned Steven. I was like, I that was one thing I was missing, or at least that I thought was like a classic. That's a Snyderism, if we're gonna say it.
Sure.
And then as I watched it again, I went, wait, no, never mind. I got it. Like when we first see Zeus, like as he's doing his roar and he's walking in, and you had the little. What's funny is you do the little carp or the tarp flap.
Oh yeah,
just so much better because you see it fall away and you see him like kind of he's there. And then there's several shots that are like,
well, it's also
that's
just
a splash
it's
page.
a little bit more organic, so it just doesn't have as much of the tableau-y kind of like sort of proscenium shots that like you have in a more like when you're shooting a movie standard, or just on the dolly,
right?
But it's just.
But it felt more natural that way. Like I felt immersed into the film. Like I was like, shit.
I think that was the goal. The idea that like I knew we were going into this fantastical world with zombies and all sorts of things. Like, like let's make the camera part of it.
Yeah.
And that'll get then just get you in a little bit deeper because I'm asking a lot. I knew I was, and so the less. Although I'd say the title sequence is a little bit more, we shot that more in a more traditional sort of.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was great.
It was so good.
It's weird, but it's more traditional.
I just let
that
and then even going
most dollies, yeah.
Like, but then talking about like how you did, you were the DP on this, and even on the additional photography for Justice League. Do you see yourself being the DP all the time now, or what?
Let's see. I mean, I don't. It's hard to not. I mean,
you can't go back.
It would be hard.
Yep.
It's gonna be hard if I don't do it. It's gonna be hard. But.
Yeah, and how difficult was it to like do the focus with the dream lens? I mean, that had to be. You had to probably work out.
Trevor,
I mean, that had to be like a workout program for like a month.
Braden and Trevor pulled focus.
Okay.
And they're geniuses. The movie, because it's remote, right?
Okay.
I just point the fucking camera all over the place, and they got to focus.
Oh, they're the okay.
Yeah, they're like, I got this monitor going. Like,
Stop moving! Stop moving! Stop! Oh,
yeah, like at least tell me what you're gonna do a little bit. Like I'm gonna be like this, and I'm gonna point. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So they did a great job. Really great.
I was talking to Damon the other day for an interview, and I asked him about your decision to go with the dream lens, and he said, yeah, early on, we both took a camera and like went to the casino, like scouting or something. And he's like, we started like running around with the camera, shooting different stuff. And I was like, whoa, I don't know how this is going to work. This is like insane to get anything in focus. But like you said, it's more in focus than you would expect.
Yeah, it really is. Because in those on the scouts, I was trying to focus. So it was like, I'm like, trying to focus and trying to follow him around. And it's, yeah. I mean, we got some good shots, but it was really very artistic.
Your glowing review of the dream lens before we'd even seen any footage. You guys talked about that a lot when we did the set visit, and it got me kind of hooked. And I started doing some research on vintage lenses and stuff. Found some like really cheap, shallow depth of field stuff that's more in my price range than the Dream lens. But that's what I've noticed. I've got like a Fast 50. It's like a 1.4, and just trying to snap pictures of my kids. I'm like, stop running around so much. It'll be great. Just don't move.
Oh, got something. Uh-oh. You just yeah.
We're gonna get like a fucking full on.
You just added some energy to the man. Love it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You just got him up.
Oh man. So good.
Literally got him up.
Fucking love this. Jeez. Somebody said
he's not like Scott. He's not like Scott to where he just pulls it right up.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it at his disposal right there. Oh, there it is.
Look at that thing, man.
This
Jeez.
is a Fast 50.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Look at that thing.
It's a little faster than my 50.
It's got some girth to it, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Wow.
Wait, is it on this side?
That's a cannon. Yeah.
No, it's not a cannon.
Well,
no.
It looks like an
a
actual
cannon, not
an
a
actual
brand.
Whoa, wait,
not a brand.
That 7.5. What is that? That's not the Dream lens, right?
Said made.
That's one you made?
Wait, is that custom?
Yeah, it's like.
But I mean, the glass is that vintage glass, or did you have the
it's
glass?
Vintage glass that the guys at Zero Optic like rebuilt for me and really turned it into a lens because it wasn't really a lens. It's just
I've seen a bunch of people that are like taking old projector lenses and turning them into
it's basically like this Russian X-ray lens that they built.
Or I started looking into like radioactive glass. I'm like, okay, that's a bit maybe too far.
That's cool.
That's Snyder. You know what? I was actually going to ask you. So one of the things that a lot of people are even saying when it comes to like the opening, which was beautiful, is that they were all comparing it to like Watchmen. And as I watched it, I'm like, well, I mean, it's not Watchmen. I mean, Watchmen is Watchmen. That's it. Like there's not another Watchmen opening, just like there's not another BVS opening. And I feel like there's like a famous Jay-Z line that was like, you want my old shit, buy my old albums. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of what the way you're like, I mean, I'm not going to do a Watchmen opening because I already did that. And I'm going to do my own, like, my own stuff. And I'm just going to keep coming up with crazier ideas because you're Zack Snyder.
I mean, I don't look at it that way. I mean, I think it's, I don't get mad, but I know what you're saying. Like, I don't think about it in those terms. Like, and I think that I haven't, I mean, maybe people are talking that way, but I think that it's different enough so that they feel like, when I've heard it, doesn't seem like an insult. Like, oh, you're just doing the same thing you always do.
Right.
It does feel like people are like, holy shit, the only way I can describe it is it reminds me of Watchmen. So that's okay. But I know what you're saying. I definitely do feel that way. Like I feel like I reinvented it. And I feel like it's like
totally
a rehash because it's definitely not.
Nope.
But I understand it. And I also, I like the constraint of it. But
well, I think a lot of people.
I'm looking at the thing. The kid is. I gotta put her to bed.
Okay, yeah, I know.
I gotta put her to bed. But like, all right, well, good. Yes, we'll get back on.
No, yeah. Hey, man.
By then, you guys will have it all worked out.
Yes, and I love the fact that like the live chat right now is going like they're just picking movies or franchises that you could do, and they're saying Zack Snyder's Godzilla, Zack Snyder's Bug Life, Zack Snyder.
Oh, Zack Snyder's Bug Life, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, you see the Colbert thing, I think it's on next week. I think it's on.
Yeah, that's right. You shot with Colbert. That's right.
Yeah, we did this crazy skit.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
I have to do a lot of acting.
Oh, look at you.
Ooh.
No,
You.
I'm
Zack Snyder actor.
Well,
come on.
Were you in New York to do your Simpsons voiceover as well, or
yes,
was that like?
I was doing that. Yes, but I was in New York and I did it with them. We were on.
No, man.
It's funny.
Somehow we got to get Zach. We got to get you on fucking Rick and Morty somehow. That's not Simpsons. Rick and Morty. Come on.
You know what I wanted to do is my suggestion was to shoot to do just like one of the end teasers in live action, just that last. Whatever.
Yes.
30 the after scene.
Yes. Yeah. No, that'd be cool. But anyway, Zach, if you got to go, man. Like, appreciate you stopping by.
Of course.
It was a lot of fun, man. I mean, totally a lot of fun, and thank you guys, for talking to that. Yeah, man, we appreciate it. Yeah, we enjoyed your movie. We're gonna blow it up, like I said, this weekend, and hopefully Netflix releases those numbers. Sorry.
And also, I know you picked the awesome trailer of The Gambler, but I was always imagining it with with Running Scared from Roy Orbison. So I'm making that trailer.
That's good.
I know. So I'm making that trailer. So I'll post it, and so you'll see it. So yeah.
All right. Cheers, guys.
All right, Zach. Appreciate it, man.
You're the best.
Talk to you guys. Talk to you later, man.